right-hand column. That's what we're going to be explaining what that means, and tying it back to the code hero and how did he show this particular characteristic in this one scene. Okay, so that's what that's going to be. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the code hero, the characteristics. You already did the hero journal. You've already got that completed. So you definitely should have background knowledge, and I hope that you have been keeping track of those code hero things and quotes and taking notes on those things as you were going along this whole unit, because I've never taught American literature before. I have never read this book before. I've heard of it, I've tasted it, but I never read it before. I never did what, was, I hate to use the A word, assigned with it, so this is all new to me. So now I know that next time I teach it, I will be, giving the, Santiago Code Hero at the very, very beginning before anything else. So that's a little self-note for 2021. So, traits and characteristics include has self-discipline, is very self-disciplined, very grounded down. So has self-discipline, I'm just going to write all these down. Has courage. Okay. Has let's see here, has courage, has humility, can endure and persevere through challenges, facing odds against him, suffers and experiences physical, and I'll abbreviate it. Emo is emotional, and mental is MEN, pain, because there's 3 types of pain: the physical, bodily, emotional feelings, mental, mind, psychological. I should probably put psychological here. So psychological pain and okay. So graceful under pressure. Let's see. Skilled is another one. I just need to see if there were any more. Please excuse me while I grab something. I'm just trying to think of. Okay. And trying to think of any others. Oh, okay. Lives in a chaotic or stressful situation, which is another one. And I was about to put world, but if you think about a fishing village on the shoreline on the coast of Cuba, and if you think about, fishermen sailing in the sea and the waves and the sunlight and everything, then I wouldn't say that world would be stressful. However, the situation that Santiago is in might be strenuous or, difficult or, painful, stressful, and, pressuring situation. So definitely look at that. And there's a quote at the beginning of the book that might support the world or, setting a little bit, but I don't think that really applies to the book. 1984, that's another thing. So I'm trying to see if there were any others that I may have forgotten that may be valuable. I just want to go and see if there is anything. Okay. This is very difficult. Because I have to. Okay, I just need to pull it up here real quick. Feel free, everybody, to sit on the couch. Okay. Others include lives correctly, shows, has honor, courage, endurance, self-discipline, skilled, suffers or experiences pain. Okay. Man of action. And I also want to put down another one is determined and goal oriented. That's another one that I added. Faces death without fear. I'm going to eliminate that one. So these are all of the code here. That one I got rid of because I was going through and I was like, had never really happened yet. And this is asking you to look for examples of how Santiago showed the Code Hero traits through pages 9 through 77. And he never really faced death yet. And if you think about him having the line of this fish on his back, and one of his hands is cramped and bleeding, or one cramped, the other bleeding, or they're both cramped and bleeding. And he is risking his well-being for a fish. And, you may use this as an idea. Said at the beginning, 85 days without a fish. And I use the saying, nothing, absolutely nothing is all for naught. And I have said, or nothing should be all for naught. Not saying that everything isn't, because, let's face it, some things are, but try to avoid that as much as possible. And it just proves, particularly faces odds against him, that if you want something so badly, if you have your heart and your mind set on something, focused on something, laser focused on something, then you will go to the ends of the earth to achieve it. You will achieve it. Anything can happen. Everything is possible, even the impossible. And that quote was from Mary Poppins. So I'm going to write that quote down here because, I think that is a very, very good quote. Very, very prominent quote to this book. And I think that all of you can see why. Everything is possible. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is impossible. Even what is impossible. Even if the fish is so big and he can't reel it in, well, stick up to the, bootstraps, and so everything is possible. You can achieve anything you put your heart and mind to, even the impossible. And that is just a reality. That is just a reality. So, everything is possible, even the impossible. And that's true. For those of you in Everlost Clubbus, you remember the McGill sinking down to the center of the earth, falling in water, and it was like ale, and he didn't want to be stuck down there with 1,000 cowardly souls. A brave man's life is more valuable, far more valuable than 1,000 cowardly souls, and he wanted to be back on Earth, back on Everlost, on land, to breathe the air, to see people, so badly. He wanted it more than anything. And you can't imagine pulling yourself up from the center of the earth up into the water. But he turned himself into a monster by just imagining it, and he did. And I felt that the story was a little. I thought that it was okay. It didn't really resonate with me too much, and it was just so far out from the out from this world that it wasn't very. I wanted something more realistic fiction, and I kind of moved like a snail through it. So that's water under the bridge. So all of these are listed out. And I have provided on a document definitions of what all of these things are, as if I were to tell you, because, I didn't want to have to use my words, but I'll do it anyway. So, one of them has self-discipline, obviously very, self-explanatory there. Has courage, is not afraid, has such bravery, that's really, obvious hero trait. No matter who you are, you can pull off anything. Really. So self-discipline, grounding himself, has humility. A big part of Santiago is his compassion and humility, and he definitely feels for the fish and for the ocean. And remember that that he thought of the ocean as la mar, which is feminine if you are in Spanish, as opposed to el mar. He didn't just respect her; he loved her like a woman. He was in love with the sea. He's not going to take off his clothes and have sexual relations, but I think that you can understand what he's getting at. So I suppose some of the modern TV stars would make a modern mockery out of it, but who knows. And I think that you could pose the question, what if Shakespeare wrote this completely different? Old English, New English, and also to have to do with the story. What if Santiago let go of the line? Would the fish stay by his side now that the fish knows him? Would the fish leave? It's really hanging in there. So humility, humble. And the interesting thing is that he has basically almost nothing, and he's so hungry and desperate and lonely, and Salao, which means unlucky, the worst form of unlucky, as it said at the beginning of the book. The old man was finally Salao, it said. So humility, humble, empathetic, thinking of others, not vain, not selfish, not, prideful. Remember that quote about humility at the beginning. And I hope that you all took note of that, because that's probably one of the most valuable quotes in the whole entire thing. He was too simple to wonder if he had attained humility, but he knew he had attained it, and he knew it was not disgraceful, and it carried no loss of true pride. So, even though he's poor, and the boy asked him, said, the best fisherman is you. I know others better. I don't want 4 sardines. I want only 2 because I already have others. And thinking of the fish. So he lives a very simplistic, very pure life, I would say. So endurance can, get through challenges, and can survive and persevere, facing odds against him. I think that a lot of the odds, because I've already talked about one on already, I think that the odds are pretty obvious, but you can certainly go back to and look. Suffers and experiences physical, emotional, mental pain. If you think about, as I said, back hurting, eyebrow bleeding, hand bleeding, having to hold the line, hungry, you name it. So, let's see, graceful under pressure. Obviously very, very cool. Very, composed. Conduct yourself in difficult and painful situations. Okay, so skilled is a man of skilled with all of the yields of being a fisherman. You'd think that he is pretty skilled, and there's a quote about that. And I hope that that was one of your quotes that you written down in the document. So lives in a chaotic, stressful situation. Well, you think about, him in the boat, sick and tired of trying to catch a fish, not having it, and now he has a responsibility that he has to get this big fish, and collect it. 85 is a charm. And him being alone in a skiff at, his age and all these kind of things. And a lot of these intertwine with each other and are very similar and go off of each other. So, and a lot of them sound like each other. Very truly. So, lives correctly. It kind of goes with lives humbly. He doesn't want any more than what he needs. Very minimalist living. Very simply, just like Hemingway. I think that Hemingway put a lot of his heart and soul and his life experience and himself into writing The Old Man and the Sea, his most famous work. And is satisfied even if he has almost nothing. So Santiago is definitely a man to look up to for anybody. And if you've seen Greta Southall's groundbreaking speech, she was talking about the spark notes and the lessons from that book. That's why I had you watch that at the very, very beginning. Because she teaches this as well. And if you remember last weekend, if you all caught it, I was talking to her about the book in her speech while she was over there at the headquarters. while we were there. So let's correctly shows honor. Shows honor, which is a deep respect, appreciation, taking on a good role model role. That's what basically honor is. It defines that they're man of action. You know, as you're reading, you can see all those quotes where he talks to himself in his head, telling him to focus on the task at hand and all that kind of thing. Determined. Determined and driven, I want to say. Definitely driven and determined. So, yeah. So, basically, so you have until Wednesday to get that done. I'm not going to give you any work time today, but just remember that you need to have pages 78 or 77 through 127 read. I'm going to push it to Wednesday, so your quiz will be on this coming Wednesday. Does that sound good to everybody? So raise your hand if you're in the 80s. Okay, 90s. 100s. Okay, we're not there yet. Okay, we'll keep pressing on through the book. It's a short story. It's quick to read, so you should be done with it fairly quickly. Do take notice of those things as well. So, yeah. I want 1984 people, or English Lit people to come in here, so I want you all to bring them in here, because I'm going to talk about what we've read. So, okay. Well, we're making really slow progress. And I think that we might need to pick it up a little bit. But so anyway, you read half of chapter 1. What's going on in the setting? Well, obviously it's talking about a character named Winston. Okay. You know what? Tomorrow, we're going to be coming and we're going to be discussing the book in the afternoon. Okay? Just because I'm tired and I'm exhausted. So does that sound good to everybody? Okay, wonderful.